We are going to be watching the Utah legislature on this channel, and the first thing we need to do in order to do that is understand how to use the website. If you want to track bills, if you want to be involved, you need to know how the website functions. So we're going to start at le.utah.gov. That takes you to this site where you will see a calendar of what's coming up. You can do a search on the site for any keywords you want. You can also jump to bills. And if you log in, which you can create a new account right here, log in, you can track bills and have a very simple dashboard that shows you exactly where you're going. You can add bills manually. You can, if you know the bill number, you can go up to the bills drop down at the top and search by legislative session. You can search by uh, who is sponsoring the bill. Here we're going to go into the legislative session. We'll just look at the first ones. First one listed is a National Guard Veterans Affairs and Legislative Based Budget. Pop into that, hit track this on the right. And when you go back to My Legislation, which is the dashboard when you log in, you will see that bill pop up. And from there, you can pop right back into it very easily. Very simple way to keep track of the bills that matter. Pop back in here. I'm going to go back to the 2025 legislative session. Um, if you hit the more, you get a whole bunch of different ways to find things. You can see what debates are happening. You can see weekly schedules. Here's the House week one. Simple calendar, but it'll show you the breakdown of what's coming up this week. So, at the beginning of the week, you can go in, figure out what you need to be paying attention to, what you need to be rallying people for to respond to. I'm going to pop into the bill request by sponsor, subject, or committee. This is a simple way. If you have an idea of what you're looking for, the drop downs aren't going to work on the way that this screen records. But I'm going to go look at education bills. Here is a list of the bill requests. You can see a status on the right hand side. It shows in process. Some of them are abandoned. That may be because some other bills came up that are going to do the same thing. It might be because it's not going to work in this legislative session. They're going to refine it, work into the next. You can look at information on these bills if you click on the bill. Otherwise, we can go up to, if you know that you want to find a bill on a certain topic. Let's say you know that there's a bill that's going to affect teacher unions. So I'm going to go up to keyword search and I'm going to just search on union. And right here, HB 267 is a labor union amendments bill. This has a lot of information. This is the actual bill. And some of these are very simple and some of them are very confusing. They have highlighted provisions at the top. Those are a summary. It's not always a perfect summary. It might be biased toward who wrote the summary. It's a good idea to make sure you're in the right area, but you want to actually read the text of the bill to figure out what it does. In this case, this one does a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to get into more detail on this later. One of the things it does is it renumbers. You can see at the top there, it's 3432.1 becomes 3432.101. Sometimes moving sections can change what things mean. So we'll actually look at the legislation that's currently in place. This is a long bill. You can see a whole bunch of sections that are added and removed. Red is removed, blue is added. You'll see some crossouts that happen. It's a lot to read. So if it's something you care about, it's worth reading. If it's not something you care about, don't track that bill. Work with some other people who you trust, who can do a summary of what the bill is going to do. Get an idea of whether it's going to affect you or not, and how much effort you want to put into it. Some of the details you may want to look at. This one, 1A, it is being renumbered, but it's being tweaked a little bit too. So you can compare the red to the blue. In this case, if you look at number 2 on here, employer in the red means the person employing an employee. In the blue, what they're trying to take out, it actually means the person or entity employing an employee. That, depending on the definitions, may actually significantly change the law. You might say, instead of it being the business, it's only the person who signs the checks. And that can become a wildly different meaning for the law. So if we go into the original, this one, like I said, this one renumbers. We're going to go into the original title and chapter here. And in this case, this title and chapter only had 1A, 2, 3, and 4. I'm sorry. This one only had 1.1, 2, 3, and 4. If we go back to the bill, we'll see that 1 is going to get renumbered to 101. 1.1 is going to get renumbered to 102. Since those are all staying in the exact same uh, title and section, they're just getting renumbered within that, and it's not moving it to a different area. The definitions don't change. That part of this bill isn't a big deal, but we do want to pay attention to what words are being changed. If you go in through your dashboard, you can see this once you're into the bill, which you can jump to from your dashboard if you're tracking it. You can go to just by clicking the hyperlinks. The bill text is where we were. The status, right now, it just shows that on the 18th, it got a number and then it got publicly distributed. As this gets onto calendars for committees, you'll see when they're scheduled, and you can go into the hearings and debates and actually hear or see what's said in the committee. And if it's upcoming and you want to speak, you might be able to watch it live and actually raise your hand and have public feedback. You can certainly also contact your legislators, House and Senate, as well as other legislators, because even if they aren't serving your district, they still affect you. So you can reach out to the bill sponsor. You can reach out to anyone who is willing to listen to you. You can hit everyone. Here we're going to go back. This is just the calendar for what's coming up. Here's on the first day of the session for 2025, they have scheduled the House Rules Room and the notice of what the meeting is. If you click the House Rules Room, it takes you to a Google search, which might be great if you are in Salt Lake City right now. I'm in Cedar City, so this says that this is probably the rules room for Southern Utah University, which is not really all that helpful. But that does make it so that you can do a more honed in search if you want. You can always say, Utah Legislature House Rules Room to get an idea of how to get there if you want to go in person. Here's the notice of what's happening, who can get involved, and how they can take part if they want to be in the meeting via live stream, if they want to raise their hands. If you do get involved in a live stream comment period, make sure you have a camera hooked up and a mic hooked up, because they will make you turn your camera on so they can see you. That's required for the everyone else to view. It's not just a voice only thing. Otherwise, explore this site, get used to it. We're going to get into some of these bills, and we need to hold our legislators accountable.